And believe me, before I started even my 30-minute bumper, I closed my eyes and I say a little bitty prayer that just like, let's have a good show. Let's just have a good. I was looking forward to talking to you because there's a lot of stuff that went on this month.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I start getting my ass dragging with all this. And it says we're on, yet I don't see it on. Coming up. Okay. Oh, that's a bumper. Okay. All right, let's start over again. Thank you for coming back the second time now of what I want to do, what we're calling East Meets West. You, Bob Paff from Baltimore, Maryland, joining me on what I think is a really good thing because in the course of a month, a lot of stuff goes on, and a lot of things are different on your end of the country than on my end of the country. And I think that it's a really good thing because I haven't had time to watch your show these past few Fridays because I've been slamming myself, which is, we're all busy, we're all hustling. But this is a time for us to share and come together from the East meets West and talk about a few things that are very pertinent in your life and in mine and in the rest of the world. So I welcome you and I thank you again. I just, like I said, it shouldn't be rough like this, but it was, but we just keep on going and we'll be fine. So what's been going on in your past few shows? I mean, I know you've been hitting it hard with your electoral mayor, Bob Wallace. That's a big deal to you, and it's a big deal for Baltimore.
It is. It really is.
How's it going?
It's going really well. The Ray Lewis of the Ravens radio endorsements are starting to run, and the visibility is up. The challenge with Bob is he's not a politician. He's a businessman. And when you think about it, Peter, people don't think about this. Baltimore City, like L.A. or Detroit or Cleveland or Chicago, it's big business. Baltimore's a $3.4 billion city, and yet we elect politicians that have no business experience.
Right.
So Bob is a business guy. He's a mechanical engineer who then went on to Dartmouth College and got a master's in business administration. So he would be the first business person that we've had as mayor. And, it's got to happen. It's got to happen. So, again, the advantage that the other guy has is that that's all he's done is politics.
Right.
And so he's got that platform there. And so we just need to get the word out and the name out and all that, but we're doing it.
Career politician, in other words.
Career politician and a young, 30-some, few years shy of 40. Right. That's all kid. That's all. I never say kid. That's all this guy's done.
Right.
It's all this guy has done is to be an intern for prior mayors and then be on the city council. But he's had a front row seat to all of the corruption and destruction in the city.
Wow.
And I've just had it, man. I've hit the wall, and things don't change. I'm out of here. But Peter, that leads me to a good point and a good segue. Where's a good place anymore? I mean, I had a meeting with one of the Democratic candidates in the primary election for mayor, and we talked about where do you go? And this person actually said that they had dual citizenship in Ireland.
Oh.
And was thinking about leaving the country.
Come on.
No, really. So I don't know where I would go. I wouldn't go to L.A.
Well, I don't know.
You got Gavin Newsom out there.
We do, but it's just a matter of time, my friend.
Okay.
It's just a matter of time. I mean, if it does, and we're going to get into all that stuff too, because believe me, last week, I didn't realize the guest that I have on last week. This guy, V, from the Red Pill Hardcore show, and this is the guy that there used to be a bunch of, I didn't realize it was brought to my attention. This is how much I know. There used to be a lot of videos with not a clown face, like this face with a guy with a mustache, and it was like an old, like a Three Musketeers type face, and you only saw this mask, and it was surrounded with black, and it was like, the guy that was coming out talking about all the, the deep state stuff and all that. This is who this man is, except without the mask. Yeah, I didn't realize he's a lot bigger than I thought.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, very controversial. He's in Europe doing his radio show, and he gets into mind control and government deep stuff. But
Yeah.
I've had him on my, yeah, and I didn't realize. And somebody emailed me, go, "Is this the V?" And they showed me the picture of this. It's like a half one of those half masks, kind of like the clown type mask, but it's
Yeah.
a curly mustache. And
Oh, I know. I've seen that.
okay,
Yeah.
well, that's who that is. And
Wow.
there was a lot of those. You used to see they were kind of creepy because you didn't know who it was. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But they were
Correct.
talking about all the stuff and going on in the background. And he's been on my show twice now, and I've been on his once. And it just, but we're getting into this. All this. There's a lot of creepy stuff going on in the background.
Correct.
Correct. And this is where we're going to go. Last week I had him on the show because we reviewed the Democratic National Convention. He doesn't like talking about that stuff, but I wanted to, and I just wanted, and he was all about if you have career politicians for 40 years that have done nothing, why would you want to have them?
Dianne Feinstein out there with you, my friend, 60 years. She's 86 years old, Peter.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I get it.
That's just it's so frustrating. You can't talk to anybody anymore about anything.
No,
it's
you can't.
ridiculous.
I know. And the thing is, that's the problem. If you believe everything you hear and everybody's throwing accusations, it's going to get dirty and muddier. But my whole thing was, it's like, I'm in. I mean, I have no problem with listening, but I just feel like, and I know you do too. But it's like we said it last time. Is that all they've got? You know what I mean? And so I had him on the show last week. So then comes this week, and I was looking forward with it this week because here comes the Republican National Convention. And I now that I'm getting older, I made it a point to watch because I watched both. And here we go. What Pence came on, especially the last 2 days, and then when Trump, love or hate, because all they talk about is how he's fumbled this year. Due to things that are beyond anyone's control. Actually, they were within people's control. They made it happen, I believe. But you know what I mean. They're putting the blame on him. And then he comes out and says all the things that he has done. And it's like some people are saying, well, why has he got to keep harping on that? So what do you mean, why is he got to be harping on that? Look what happened the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And he dug deep. I mean, he says the same thing. He says Biden, love him or hate him, 47 years or something like that. And
that's right.
So your take?
Well, no, I think it's true. I think it's.
Did you watch it?
Did I what?
Did you watch the Trump?
I did not. I did not watch. I did not watch the Democratic.
No, the Republican.
I watched. I saw Tim Scott's speech, which I thought was incredible. The senator from South Carolina did a terrific job, and I loved when he talked about his grandfather who picked cotton and just died. He was 99, and so he said within really 2 generations, but he lived long enough to see his grandson become a United States senator. I thought that was a really amazing speech. And I saw pieces of the attorney general from Kentucky who called Joe Biden, who said, if you vote for Trump, you're not black enough, or something ridiculous like that, which is entirely offensive. And this young man said, don't tell me I'm not black enough. I was like, what's that? I did see it. I saw the boys speak. I saw Melania's speech. I saw the Secretary of State's speech. I don't think I saw any of Trump's.
Oh my God! See, I thought for sure because I made sure I wanted to watch Pence, and Donald Trump because
you know what? And Pence was here in Baltimore. Pence was.
He was, and I thought, okay,
Fort McHenry. He was in Fort McHenry.
Exactly. Let me tell you something. And I don't care who's Republican. If Donald Trump was some other party like Kanye West or whatever, birthday party, I'd still be listening to him because I don't care about parties. I really don't. I care about who's the best man for the job, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
So I'm listening to Biden's speech, Pence, for the Republic, and I'm telling you, for some reason, he got me emotional. Because
he's not really. I don't find him very.
He's not, and you don't hear from him very much. But he talked about some things that just made. I mean, again, if you put your blinders on, but he brought things to reality, and he got me in the throat a little bit because more so than Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is Donald Trump, and we all know that. And his daughter brought it to the surface. They go, we all know my dad's a little, he kind of says what he feels, but. he does what he feels needs to
Right.
be done, and he gets
Right.
it done. And again, that famous now it's going to be a famous phrase. Donald, where is Washington has not changed Donald Trump. Donald Trump has changed Washington.
Where did that come out of? The
That came
convention?
out of his daughter's mouth.
His daughter's mouth. Okay. So was that Tiffany or Ivanka?
Ivanka.
Okay.
She spoke on Thursday night.
Okay.
And
okay.
and look, love him or hate him, it's true, because
Yeah.
he stirred the pot. He's,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Disruptor. He's a disruptor at the least, right?
Because there's a bunch of people, and I'm not sorry, people. It's the truth. There are people that have been in Congress for decades upon decades, just easy street, collecting those paychecks, and he's saying enough is enough. Nothing's getting done. It's time to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
they got this little, like a good old boys club. I mean, it's the truth.
Oh, Peter, but though, in fairness, and I try to be balanced, Mitch McConnell's been around forever, too. So you got it on both sides.
That's
right?
Okay. You do. You do.
You got it on both sides.
You do. And again,
I believe in term limits. I think we need term limits. So whether it's 8 years, 2 terms, or whatever, because by the time you get in, you get your feet wet, you're figuring things out, and then you're able to do some things. So maybe it's 2 terms. But for Dianne Feinstein and McConnell and some of these people that have been in, Nancy Pelosi is another one. People 30, 40, 50.
If anybody's got to go, she's got to go first.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. There's some deep. I mean, again,
I don't know why people would want to continue in that office unless it's just a power. It's an ego trip.
It's money.
Right?
It's easy money.
Oh, they've got so much money. Dianne Feinstein's worth like $70 million.
You know what? Nowadays, $70 million. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not. Not in this day and age. Not for them. Not when you've been. I know. Look, you and I, I'm on a peso budget. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But when you've lived at that level, it's just it's. I think it's more egotistical. It's.
Well, it's totally. I mean, she's 86 years old. She's already exceeded her life expectancy. And every day's a gift. How much longer is she going to be? But I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And it doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat or whatever. That's just ridiculous. It's exhausting.
It is ridiculous. And again, and as it was put to me last week, if you can't have goals and set goals and produce something within a certain time limit, it's time to step out and try and do something,
Yeah.
out with the old, in with the new. Okay, you had your chance. This is what corporate does.
Correct. Oh, absolutely.
They're chopping heads like left and right, especially in this day and age. Past 10 years, you get a 6-month shot and then you're out. I don't believe in that. It's a little bit too cutthroat, but I do believe that some people just that you when you're in.
Well, and they also they negotiate their deals. And they get their big fat paychecks.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Junior or whatever, right? I mean,
that's
what's going on there.
That's what I'm saying.
You got to call it like it is. I mean, it doesn't matter. If we're true to that, and I don't believe in. It's not about the politics, but whoever it is, Falwell or whoever, it is what it is. A lie's a lie, and corruption's corruption. So. Listen, here's my take on all of it. I think technology has just changed the world. Technology has added to all the negatives and all the hatred and all the anger. It really does. This whole concept of fake news, and
exactly.
You can create anything, anywhere, about anybody and for anybody, Pete. You know that.
But I hear you, but I had a newscaster on a few weeks ago. She's a 25-year Sharon Tate. Oh, my God, she's not only good at what she does, but she's really, really pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is how I first saw her, like back in 1992 or 93. I'm walking by my TV set, and I just stopped. You just couldn't help it. And here we are 25 years later talking about, and she agreed to come on my show. And I wanted to know, I said, do you really believe what you read? And she said, absolutely. And I said, how can you? And she says, because there's lawsuits if they don't fact check and this and that, and still in my mind I'm baffled. I see the look on your face right now. You know what I'm talking about. It's like there's a lot of shit. It's like that can't be real.
Yeah.
But she says on their broadcast on the major she's now not doing it for a while. On at Los Angeles newscaster. I mean, that you can't get too much bigger than that. New York, L.A. You know what I mean?
Correct. Correct.
And she's telling me that they, there's lawsuits and all this kind of stuff, and you have to report the news, and it has to be together. And I don't know, maybe with all the other social media like Facebook, I can put a picture of you and put some text next to it that says,
Right.
and yet somebody will believe it because it's
Correct. Oh, there's no question about it. There's no question about it. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And that's that. Like I said, that's exhausting, and I don't know how do we control that?
You don't.
I don't
So
know we do.
you have to open your mind and not necessarily take every grain of salt because again, I think the biggest problem we're having, and I think we spoke about this last time I spoke to you, is like you're looking at somebody that's saying that's pro Democrat and they're going, how can you believe this crap? And they look dead in your face and they're going, how can you believe this crap?
Right.
I mean, dead serious to the bone. Where people's relationships are breaking up. I see you writing about that all the time.
Yes. Yeah. Well, but I think we're pissing in the wind, pardon the expression, or spitting, or whatever it is.
No, that's a good expression. I like that one.
I mean, I just, Pete, I don't see it. People have such visceral responses to things. Like I made a comment. Some people might be watching me and listening to me. I made a comment about what's going on in Portland. I saw the Portland mayor.
There's another thing. We're going to get there.
Being interviewed. He was being interviewed, and he said, and the guy looked scared to death, and he said, I go to bed every night. And he said this. I go to bed every night asking myself if I'm doing everything that I could do. And I wake up and I ask myself the same question. He's also the police commissioner out there. So you've got, and so the city of Portland, the mayor is also the police commissioner. And
how can you do that?
So, what's that?
Can you be both?
Apparently so.
It's Mayberry? Mayberry.
Seems to be a conflict of interest for the mayor of Portland, Oregon to be able to be both, but he is. He is.
Wow.
And so somebody, started commenting and coming after me or whatever about talking about systemic racism. I said, wait a minute, time out. We're talking about different things. We're talking about if you're the mayor of Portland, you can't control your city. How can you blame the president, regardless of who he is? If it's Obama, Bush, Clinton, Trump, whoever, 3,000 miles away or 3,000 plus miles away, how do you blame the White House for you not being able to control your own city? And so I said to this person, let's stay on point. Because people will say, oh, yeah, but what about? No, not what about. Let's focus in on this and just answer this problem. And it's crazy. But look at all this. I mean, we talked about this last time. Look at Chicago.
Right.
New York. Look at New York. I mean, I don't know if it's fake news or not, but I saw something that I think the president of the Fraternal Order of Police in New York is calling for de Blasio's resignation. But I think they've probably been calling that for a while. I think Cuomo's called for that. So there you go. The governor of New York doesn't even like de Blasio.
It's a mess. I'm reading a quote from you I saw on Facebook, and it said, Portland, Oregon is out of control, and the mayor is unable to handle unrest, as is Chicago.
Right? It's simple fact. People went off on tangents.
Trump said the other night, he says,
right.
I'm willing to help you, but you have to call me. He said, if you don't call me, I can't, because I guess it's a law. It's like they have to request federal aid, but they're not requesting it. So meanwhile, because I got a friend that's like 20 miles outside of Portland that keeps going, he goes, it's getting, it's ridiculous. They're ruining, tearing down and just all these riots and this and that, and nobody's doing anything.
Well, this person who I don't want to call it coming after me. That's a little strong.
No, it's probably true.
This person who commented said that they lived in Portland and what I was saying wasn't true. And I said, well, I just saw your mayor interviewed on television. I saw him. It wasn't like his fake news. I saw him being interviewed. And a reporter asked him very pointed questions. She said, are you doing enough? And he said, I ask myself that all the time. I was like, oh, my God. If you don't know, the poor citizens of Portland, really scary. I mean, it's and Lori Lightweight in Chicago and all of it. I mean, it's, I heard that she, of course she's allowing protests and then she wanted help. And that she said, you can protest on any street but mine. I don't know if you heard that or not.
No,
you can protest on any street but mine.
Wonderful.
I don't know. What is it? We have the wrong people going into politics because people, if you have any sanity with you, you don't want to go into politics. It's crazy. So
It's all been crazy. So I'm gonna keep moving through things because
go.
God, I'm so pissed off on how the show started. This stuff bothers me. It really does because I take so much pride in getting up to where we're at right here, and
Yeah,
as I know you do too, because this is important. Not only what we're talking about, just the fact that we do what we do. You love what
correct.
you do. I know you do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so do I. And
Yeah.
you know, we both want to take it to other levels, but it is what it is. We do what we
Right.
do, and God bless the people that follow us. And you know, and right
Yeah.
now I know just there's somebody that would joined on because she wanted to watch you. You know, and I can't see her name because I can't pull it up on the big screen. But the thing is, you're pretty popular. You know, you know what I mean. We're thankful for the people that do believe that we
Correct.
have
No, no,
something
no, no, no. We are
something to
absolutely
bring to the table, right?
humbled by the people that support.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
great, so grateful. But the thing is, here we are, and it just pisses me off when I get off to a bad start because I felt like I wasted a few minutes. Like I chose to take Facebook and treat it like a TV show, like clockwork. And
Correct.
when I don't start on time, it really bugs me. But we're here.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Jacob Blake shooting. You know who that is? The
Yes.
Wisconsin.
Which one? I mean,
The
they're all
Wisconsin shooting where they shot him in the back
the
7
Wisconsin.
times. Okay?
Right. Right.
They shot him in the back 7 times. And now everything's gone back to, you know, Black Lives Matter and racial
Yeah.
justice and this and that.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you talk first on what you think about the whole deal.
I'm going to confess, I've not done I haven't done the deep dive on that whole
I don't
thing.
either, but still, you've got to have caught a few.
Well, I mean,
cases.
shooting anybody in the back 7 times, right? I mean, I don't know where you're going with that. 7 times in the back.
Well, let me explain.
Go ahead, please.
The police were called to a residence of a girlfriend of his or something like that. And
Okay.
she said he was there. He's not supposed to be there. Now, apparently, he had 2 or 3 children in his SUV, an SUV. The cops came. 6 or 7 cops came because she said he took her keys and he wouldn't give them back and he's not supposed to be there and all this kind of stuff. So there's several police officers there.
Yeah.
This is where I have the problem. I don't care if you're black, green, white, orange, or whatever.
Yeah.
If the cops and 7 cops came to my door and because I'm kind of acting out and they
Yeah.
tell me to stop and do something, you stop.
I agree. I'd stop.
There's video of him. He's walking around from the passenger side of the car on the sidewalk, and they're like he's just disobeying them. And I'm not saying it's martial law and this and that, but he's kind of, you kind of you need to like oblige. This doesn't help the matter. He walks
Agreed.
around his car from the front. They're telling him to stop. He opens up the door of his car and leans down to the floorboard of the car. They're grabbing his shirt, and these cops, they don't know what he's going to do.
Correct.
Do we have to wait until a cop gets shot, and it says,
Right.
Officer so-and-so was gunned down, leaves behind 2 small children and a wife.
Right.
So this one cop opens fire. Come to find out, he had a knife on the floorboard or something like that. But my issue, and so now all of a sudden we got the NBA and everybody boycotting games because
Correct.
we're back to racial justice. Now listen, what's his name? Oh my God, from the Lakers, James LeBron. He says enough is
LeBron.
enough. Yeah, enough. And LeBron. Yeah.
Yeah.
LeBron James, dyslexia kicking in. He got on camera and he says, enough is enough. Why do we have to keep taking, getting, this and that? He says, I have two boys.
Yeah.
I promise you, if he's not raising his sons like some other people, and if he is, you get what you get.
Right.
Because I would raise my daughter that, if you have done something wrong and there's 7 police officers around you that tell you to stop and put your hands to your side, just like there was another one in Pasadena. The guy got out of the passenger side, a black man. He got out of the passenger. They have it on the cop camera because the car was in front of it. And he runs around the back of the car, pulling out something from his waist belt, and a gun. And the cops shot him. And now they're under scrutiny for it. If you're not doing nothing wrong, you lay your hands down and just deal with it.
Agree. Yeah. No. I absolutely agree with
But
that.
but but all but all this whole Jacob Blake thing has resulted in more riots, more
of course,
burnings, more all of it. It's like every single person. And again, I am all about justice if
right,
it's deserved
right,
justice.
right,
But if you're, they're making these people like I feel bad for the parent. Like there was the Jacob Blake's father was like, why'd they shoot my son? Why they, I feel bad for the parent kind of because that's your child. You get it, right?
I
But
do.
but if you're doing wrong, it's
Correct.
like he wouldn't have gotten shot had he not just kept forcing his way around the car. Why would you do that? And then they
Right.
keep. Then they're saying there's 3 children in the car. They had to witness their father being shot, and how are they ever going to overcome? I get that part too, but
Right.
I think it all starts from the root.
Yeah, and again, my whole thing about that, you got to dissect that. They're all different parts. The trauma to the kids, nobody's going to disagree with that. The guy not doing what he was told, stop, all that. So you got to break this thing down into part. I agree with you because if nothing else, the police are under more scrutiny than they've ever been.
Yes,
so
you're
the
afraid to be
guys
a
aren't
cop.
going to. They're not going to open up and randomly do that unless they felt that their lives were in danger. And that's really obviously what it came down to. And you said he had a knife or whatever else was going on, that they felt threatened and then did that. So, but that part of the narrative, Peter, rarely comes out anymore. It doesn't. Everything gets sensationalized, as you know,
Absolutely.
and distorted. And you get both sides. You get, what happened to Mr. Floyd was horrible. And I've read, I don't know if you saw recently, something came out that said that he had, I think, fentanyl, he had drugs in his system, and they basically said somebody, I don't know who it was, I don't know if it's fake news or whatever, but that he was, I don't know if they said he had a heart attack or whatever he had, but there was something going on. And the implication being that it wasn't the cop who killed him, it was the drugs in his system. I don't know if you saw.
No, I did not. But again, you get my point. I mean,
I do.
I don't believe that police should be like just barging into your house, and they don't. They got
Yeah.
called there for a reason.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and stuff went down because he did not listen to what they were asking. They are the law, and they don't want to go through this. They're afraid to be a cop now. So now you got the NBA, you got the WNBA. They boycotted their games and all that, and I'm looking at that going, whoop-de fucking do.
Yeah, no. That I agree. When I saw that, I
Yeah.
made comments on that because it's like, all right, guys, who cares?
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you're all making
You know what?
10, 15, 20, 30 million a year.
Yeah.
Who cares? Pay a minimum wage. I don't care if I never saw another game. It wouldn't matter to me.
And I know there's a lot of sports fans and this and that, but there's a lot of pissed off sports fans now.
Oh yeah, no, I've been an athlete all my life.
Because
My kids are
that's
athletes,
not their
so-
place. They get paid
No.
to play a game and to compete.
Correct.
Has nothing to do with it. Yeah, did it bring attention? It did. It brought a lot of negative attention.
Well, but you know what, Pete? You wouldn't have all this if we didn't have social media and all this because whoever says whatever, it wouldn't be broadcast all around the world.
Yeah.
And that's the part that we're not going to get the horse back in the barn. That's the part that if it happened in the 1960s or whatever, you'd have to wait for the transmission of whatever to get across town. Now it's instantaneous, and it's not good. It's not good.
Well,
really
they made their statement, and then the coach from the Clippers was like, we need to. They've been having a lot of team meetings and talking about this situation, and it's like they can't just talk about it; they have to act about it. They're trying to get all their players because, believe it or not, a lot of their players aren't registered to even vote. And so it's like whoop-de. So you skip the game. Yeah, exactly. There's about 20% of the NBA players are registered to vote.
Registered.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I'm sure there's a lot of controversy in the law. When they're having these meetings, because I'm sure there's not everybody feels the same way. There's probably a lot of mixed opinions. Again, I don't care what color you are. There's good and bad. Everybody. There's okay. Hey, let's go here. The 17-year-old with the rifle, and his name was Kyle, I think Rittenhouse. That was a 17-year-old that you saw that. You had to see that. You know what? Okay, white piece of shit, and he's got whatever he did wrong. Where were his parents? And if they couldn't control him, then he gets what he gets. I don't give a shit what color he is. He did wrong.
Agree.
So
Agree.
hang them. I'm sorry. Whatever. I'm just saying.
Well, I think if we take the Democrat and the Republican labels away from things too, and just start calling out people for, for bad behavior. A lot of people, and you might get upset with me, and you might disagree with me, and that's fine. And I was reading the very liberal Washington Post that's owned by Jeff Bezos, and they did there was a whole page on Trump, and it was a picture of him golfing, and it was not a very flattering picture. You've seen those.
Yeah,
he's a large fellow.
You could
and,
take a bad
so,
picture. We all take bad pictures.
Yeah. Well, it was a picture of his ass, so come on, you know what I'm saying.
Why would you take a picture of his ass?
Pete, they quoted him. They quoted him and saying that he wasn't going to be able to golf. He probably would never see his golf courses again because he was going to be too busy working for the American people. And then they put in there how many times he's been to his resorts and how much money the taxpayers have paid. And I said, he said this, and it's not true. And so all the Trumpsters come out and start yelling at me. But listen, on my show, all in one day, Peter, I've been called. This is true. I think I told you this last time. I've been called a vicious liberal and a Trumpster all in the same day.
Whatever.
And I thought, well, that's good. If you can't tell what I am because of what I'm saying, then that's a good thing. You can't sort of figure this thing out. But it has nothing to do with whether he's a Republican or Democrat or whatever. If you say you're going to do something, then you should do that. That's what. Maybe that's a good Catholic boy in me.
Listen, you know what? If there was somebody who I felt was worthy of on the Democratic side, I'd be all in.
Yeah, no. Well, this whole Biden thing, I mean, it is a fact. He's been around for 47 years.
Yes.
I thought it was 50, but close enough. And what gets me about all politicians, really, all politicians, and Trump's not a politician because, listen, he just got elected in 2016, so he's not a politician by anybody's measure. So I'm not talking about him because it all goes back and forth. But they're all going to, once they get elected, they're going to fix things.
Right.
So what did Biden do for 8 years as Obama's vice president? What has he done in the Senate all those years? And then here's what happens, and I'm just painting the narrative here. People will say, well, they couldn't do it because this was controlled by the other side or that or whatever. They make excuses for it all.
Right.
He's been around for 50 years.
Yeah, I know.
And now all of a sudden at the age of 78, he's going to be 78 in November.
Uh-huh.
He would be the oldest president in history. Ronald Reagan was the oldest at 68 when he was elected. Biden will be the oldest at 78 in the first term. Now all of a sudden he's got all the answers at 78. Republican or Democrat, and I've voted for Democrats in the past.
My parents were hardcore. In the past, right. Being a Democrat was for the working class people.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
right.
not. It's no longer. It's
no. It's not. And the other thing too, Pete. I think, and it goes back to the history thing. A lot of people don't realize that even like the KKK was founded by Southern Democrats.
Sure.
The KKK was originally established to annihilate white trash. White Southern trash. That's really how it was set up.
Uh-huh.
And so, but nobody talks about that because there were. That's how the whole thing started. To get those Southern Democrats are really hardcore folks, and they're the ones that started all that. And of course, we all know that the black community there were Republicans really up until Teddy Roosevelt, who made a disparaging comment about their intelligence, and then that shifted it. But if you look at Abraham Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant, the 14th and the 15th Amendments, that was a whole Republican thing.
Yeah.
So the black community was with Lincoln, and then with Roosevelt and his comment, they went to the Democratic side. But listen, I've never been this politically outspoken. I really haven't been.
I just want somebody good. I don't give a shit if they're with the birthday party. I don't care. It's just times have changed. I don't believe in changing the Second Amendments and all these kind of things like that. But I just do believe on who's going to do the best job. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. And right now, and I really thought for sure you would have tuned in because it was very, I mean, he brought a reality check to like, you tell me I'm not worth a shit, Trump said. And he just kind of had to reiterate what has gone on over the past 3 years while he's being kicked continually.
Well, the one thing about it too, and the people say, so here's how I think, and I was reading this article in the Post, which is very, very slanted, extremely, extremely liberal. They start out with the headlines bashing. And everybody says and here's my interpretation of it, Maybe I'm wrong. But everybody talks about Trump being against immigrants, and that's not true.
That's not true.
He's against illegal immigrants.
Exactly.
And the state of California, you're there. I saw a number, it blows me away that it really could be this high, but they talked about the state of California, the cost of providing health care to legal immigrants is like $90 billion. It's outrageous what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And California's in bad fiscal shape, financial shape anyway.
It used to be one of the richest states in the world. It was like a country.
Right? Oh, my God. Absolutely right.
And now?
And so Gavin Newsom's fine, Nancy Pelosi's nephew, and I'm sure, they go back to their mansions and their security detail, but that's wrong, and that's taken out of context. Trump is not against immigration; he's against illegal immigration.
Exactly.
They continually leave out the word illegal. And Obama wanted to change. And Obama talked about securing the borders and all this, but all that stuff gets conveniently left out. I mean, it just does, and manipulated.
Manipulated is probably the key word for a lot of things going on right now.
Yeah.
Because you don't really.
Guys like you and I mean, we can talk till we're blue in the face, and I don't have that many years left to really, you're not going to change people.
I know, but it's our children that we worry about.
Oh, no. Listen, I lost a son, and I've got 5 more here, and this world was too heavy for my son. And you look at the opioid crisis. Yeah. And Trump, to his credit, Melania's speech. Did you hear her speech?
I did.
She talked about the opioid crisis.
Yes.
And wanted to do more there, and Trump has done a lot. Human trafficking. I did a show on human trafficking a month ago.
Right.
I don't know if it was before or after I was on your show, but that's a $150 million criminal enterprise. Yes. And I had the guy, Joe Sweeney, who started the Acervo project. He worked for the State Department and saw what was going on, and then he said to his wife, "We've got to do something." So when you look at all these things like that, you look at the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world. Peter comes down to that 1% again. The Clintons were at Trump's wedding. There have been countless pictures of that at Mar-a-Lago to Melania.
I think things were different many years ago. I mean, they still commingled. Yep. It's just like there's a lot of people with pictures with Jeffrey Epstein, but that didn't necessarily mean that you were all interconnected. They were just people of power that were in the same events.
I agree. I've seen the pictures.
Not everybody had.
Right, Bill Gates and Epstein. Yeah.
Exactly. Not everybody went to whatever island he owned and had whatever went on over there. But
yeah, the Lolita Express. Although I think the Prince probably did.
Again, Prince Albert. Did you?
And it really does look like Prince Andrew. Yeah, yes. But it really does look like Bill Clinton went there a number of times.
Listen, I don't think you actually have to go all to somebody's island to go get laid. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least I don't. I mean,
we know Bill's proclivity for younger women. So
I guess I quit following him. Did you see that they rescued 39 children? Yes,
I saw that in Georgia, and that was incredible news because I just did that show. A lot of those people, don't get out. I mean,
that's a small scratch, but it's a start.
Oh my God, Peter! When we did that show, Joe was talking about a young girl. I think her mother started selling her when she was maybe 5, and then again, it was drugs and all this stuff, and then again I think it's 7. And then when she was 9 or something, the mother sold her daughter for $7,500.
Yeah, right.
Sold her.
I get it. Sickening.
So,
sickening.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, here's where we're at.
I'm looking for Mayberry. There's got to be.
No, I don't know about Mayberry, but there's just.
Exist anymore?
I just want. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people with this. By the way, Jean Barnett says, "Hey."
Hey, Jean. Hey. She's up late.
She's always up late. She's got to be your number one fan. She's got to be. Look, she's got to be your number one fan.
I think that's probably true.
I'm betting on it.
She'll be.
She's very active. I mean, God bless her for I'm sorry.
Maria Varela, she tuned in.
I can't see everybody because I only have one screen up because of this whole thing. But she was the one though. I think that came in earlier.
Gene got in.
Yeah, look, Gene. God bless Gene Barnett because it's the craziest thing. Yeah,
Lovely.
Yeah,
Right.
Maria Vela. I don't know if she's still here because I can't see that far.
She was
But
there.
she has definitely wanted to hear this, and I think she came in early when I was having every single problem you can have to trying to get us up and running, which is
Right.
it's an embarrassment to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like because people don't have the patience. Like you have to put it right in front of them to eat. That's what I've learned.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't like you, but if you make
Yeah.
it difficult to get to you, they just go on to something else.
Well, everybody has the attention span and the patience of a gnat.
Exactly.
So,
And here I am with these long.
It's not an indictment.
No,
it's a
but
fact.
I have
Other things going on.
I have a long-winded show. Like that's why I knew
I got it all lit up, and I got the nice background going, and then we had that trouble. See that?
But look, it looks great. You look wonderful.
Thanks.
And considering that you were telling me, oh, I'm so burned out, and I get it, and all of a sudden you come to life the minute the lights, camera, action. You know?
Yeah, man. But when we turn this off,
I know. Listen, I'm right behind you, except I got way more stuff to do. But the thing is, this is what it's about. We live for this because we believe in this, and we have a passion for this. So,
well, I'll tell you this, Peter, and I'll throw it out to the mayor of Baltimore. Bob had just sent me a text right before you and I went on air, and we've got a meeting this week, and he was getting back to me at the time and the place all worked, and I said I'm about to jump on an interview on the West Coast, so all good.
Yeah,
all good.
Here's the thing. I really kind of wanted to touch on a few things. I don't know what you talked about the past 3, 4 weeks on your show. I'm sure that some of this has been part of it, but now we're out of time already because life just has passed us by. If you want to leave,
well, we covered some of it. I talked about labeling. I want people to stop labeling, and you touched on it. Okay. Stop calling it Democrat or Republican or libtards or whatever people say, or this or that. Like, where do people come up with these things? What's a libtard?
I think some stuff is funny. It's pretty funny.
Right? Some of the people that make up this nonsense, I just don't.
I know.
I don't.
I like funny. I mean, it's just libtard.
Libtard. Very tough.
Hey,
all right, brother.
Hey, listen, if you could leave anybody, I want you to final thought.
Well, the final thought, people, is breathe. I mean, I think what I say all the time, and I try really hard to do it, stay in your own space, stay in your own lane. Don't let people piss you off. And again, I come back to this, one of my favorite sayings is, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. So you're processing things through your filter. And that may or may not have any basis in reality, Peter.
Yep.
And that's where I go with that whole thing. So that would be my final thought.
All right. Well, here we have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bob Paff, East Coast, Baltimore's radio talk show host.
Baltimore, yep.
My friend, virtual friend.
Absolutely. But I'm going to get out there one of these days.
It's going to happen. There's no doubt in my mind that,
right?
There's no doubt. It just... the hustle. We're so busy with it, But I'm not even worried about that. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. You will, and we're going to document it. We're going to document it. But in the meantime, we're doing what we can do to do the best that we can do.
Our little part. Right?
Yes, and I appreciate you again. It is well past midnight. It's almost 1 o'clock. It's almost exactly. Bob Paff stays up once a month. I'm asking him to come on to my little podunk to participate and share his thoughts
I kept telling myself, Pete, it's like, Bob, it's once a month. You committed to doing this, but it rolled around. It was a busy week. I've been balls to the wall in this campaign, if I can say that.
I get it. I get it. Believe me.
What I mean? I love this guy. He's got an amazing story. I think a lot of our problems, I really think, are generational. This book that I featured on my show, Growing Up Cherry Hills, the community Bob grew up in, and he and Linda Morris, who wrote the book, talked about polishing the marble steps. My mother grew up in a working class neighborhood, and they would scrub the marble steps in that community. I always thought that was a white thing. I hate to say it that way. When I read this book, I was like, oh my God, I grew up the same way. So these people grew up with very solid family values. And that's the person that Bob is. And so then it hit me, oh my God, this stuff may be generational, Pete, to a large extent. Now, listen, there's nothing to be accomplished, and there's no reason for anybody to be looting and burning and all that kind of stuff. There's none. I'm sorry.
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
There's no reason for it.
It's stupidity. They get people riled up, and especially the younger generation.
Yep.
They don't know any better. They're
I'm
getting
all for
coaxed.
People protest and speak and freedom of speech and all that, but there's no reason for destruction.
I get it. All right,
guys.
So here's what we're going to do. Till next time, East meets West, the last Sunday of, we're going into October.
We're going into September. Right?
Oh, yeah, we are. You know what I'm saying?
September 1st is
Yeah, you're right. We're going to... Thank you. What I wanted to say was October, this is the first time that a mask for Halloween, they might be able to actually go trick-or-treating because masks will be appropriate.
That's going to be interesting, right? Well, no, I'm so frustrated with all these masks now anyway.
I think now that's the one thing that they'll be able to do without getting criticized about. That's why I just had that in my mind, and I spit out October. You're right, September. Slow it down, Peter. Although I can't wait till the beginning of November is over, just so we can start settling in. Yeah.
We'll have a lot to talk about.
That's right. We got a lot to talk about. Thank you as always. And thanks for brightening up your whole scene. You look really great there. And thank you for staying up, and my people. And again, I apologize for holding you up with the technical difficulties.
Sorry, made it work.
We did make it work, and there's a lot of valuable stuff in there that's going to regurgitate through time, lives on forever. I don't know if you catch it on your LinkedIns and stuff like that, but I'm proud of it to post things that I feel are of worth.
I do. I catch it.
Good.
I do.
And you're part of it, so I love you for that, okay?
All right, brother.
Peace
out.
You I see you later.
All right, man.
Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, G-Money.
There you go.
Everybody up there who's listening and watching, love you.
There you go.
All right, Peter.
All right, peace out.
See ya. Bye-bye.
All right, see ya. See him? There it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Let's get rid of this. Sorry. Man, what a night of technical struggles. At least for me. Technical struggles. Nothing but technical struggles. I hate when that happens because it just blows your mindset. I was all set. So many things. I love a smooth start, intro, dig in. I want to talk about a few stupid little things, and I couldn't even do it. Not even stupid little things, serious little things, and I couldn't do it. Real quick, I'm thankful that Hurricane Laura came and went for those down in the Gulf Coast and the mid-states. I know it did some damage and a few lives were lost, but I honestly think it could have been a lot worse. Could have been way worse. I'm not saying it was great, but considering the odds of the force of that storm, I mean, I feel for the people who did lose, and there's some people that lost lives and trees crashing. I mean, who would figure that kind of stuff? It's sad, and it hurts, and I think about that stuff, and I pray for those people. I want to say it could be worse, and it could always be worse. But anyway, Hurricane Laura, the last week, had me on edge. I don't like when it's hurricane season. They're hitting the Gulf Coast, which is very dear to me. Came and went, and because they were mostly prepared. What else real quick? Still fires burning in Northern California, San Mateo. Feel for those people. You guys that live in other parts of the country, you have no idea. It's nothing you want to be around. That's all I can tell you. Next week, we're going to talk, I think I'm going to talk to Michelle next week. Michelle, and I brought this up many times about losing parents and things like that. It's all about love. Michelle lost her mother recently, and I told her, I said, and she's heartbroken. I mean, that's what love is all about. And I think she's going to be brave enough to come onto the show and talk to me about it, talk to you about it. And I think that's really a big deal because I watch this daily. And I've lived it. I've lost both my parents within the past 4 years. My father, a year and a half ago. My mother will be 4 years in October. And you know what? It affects me every single day, no matter how old I may be. I think about that, and sometimes, it just breaks you down. Because that's love. Again, love. I'm all about love. Life is short. Also, I'm hoping to get PJ Schrantz on my show for about a couple of minutes next week because so many things are going on with America Strong, USA.org. So many things. They got a NASCAR sponsorship. Who does that? Supporting our first responders, our healthcare workers, our law enforcement. They got a NASCAR. You know what that takes to get something like that? And I want him to come on real quick and talk about it. And I wanted to do it, but I'm hoping I'll get him on next week. I've been so busy, but I'm going to make the phone call this week. These are the things that are going to happen next week, I hope. Real quick, I saw Ice-T, you know, the rapper Ice-T, doing a commercial. I saw him doing a commercial for a Car Shield warranty. It's like, Jesus, man, really? You need that money? Ice-T had to do a commercial for, you know, Car Shield. I'm so sick of getting phone calls about my warranty is up on my car and I might want to get Car Shield. Anyway. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for being with me, sticking through it. I know it's late Sunday night. If you're watching during the week, share, like, subscribe. This is important stuff. Spread the word. There's so many things that goes on during the week. I mean, I have another girl who's going through some hard times. We're going to get back into the divorce and single parenting thing. I'm around it constantly. Constantly. Somebody I know, an acquaintance, going through some hard times, and she's starting to take a dive. And I had to kind of slap her today. I just bumped into her by accident, but it's like, you got to stop. You got people that depend on you, and you don't want to go down that dark road. And I can't say you don't, you know, believe me, I've been there. But some people don't make it out. We're going to start talking about that stuff again, too. But right now, we're in these very troubled times, and I feel it's very important that we touch on this because, you know, I care about our children and about our future. All I ask is that you people do not judge. Let's all love each other. Regardless of our opinions, do not get in everybody's face because you feel how stupid are you for believing this and how stupid are you for believing that. It's hard to get the facts. And I'm not saying that I have the facts, but I'm saying open your minds and at least listen. Because lots of things could change for better or for worse. Let's make an educated decision. All right? Wow. This is the end of the Peter G. Show. Life of Peter G. every Sunday night right here on Facebook, 8:30 Pacific, 10:30 Central, 11:30 on the East Coast. We're going to get to the bottom of these technical difficulties again, but I thank Bob Paff for doing the second of our monthly last Sunday of the month, East Meets West. Bob Paff, Baltimore radio talk show host, a man who cares about everything that goes on in our world. Our life, we're living in it. So let's be decent human beings, okay? Love you guys. Let's get out of here. It's a frustrating evening again. I don't like technical difficulties, but thank you for bearing with it. And again, just a bump in the road, right? My hair was jet black when I started this stuff. Love you guys. AmericaStrongUSA.org. Look them up. Support. Peter G. Show signing out. Be good to one another. Don't be a hard ass, but don't take no shit from anybody either. Love you. Bye.
Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad. Peter G. Show.